Alright, and next up we got the boys track team starting with Aiden O'Neill. Aiden says his greatest athletic memory was when I cleared 11 feet at our indoor home meet. His advice to underclassmen is to work hard and to have fun because high school goes by super fast. He would like to be remembered at Lake Central as a leader to his teammates. Next up we have Brandon McPherson. His best athletic memory were morning practices and bus rides to meets. His advice to underclassmen is don't take a second of high school for granted, enjoy every part of it. He would like to be remembered at LC as someone who was devoted to his sport, someone who wanted nothing but the best for his teammates, and someone who was obsessed with winning. Now we have Doug Belcaster. His best athletic memory was morning practices with his teammates. His advice to underclassmen is don't complain about the workout, it's going to be over soon. He would like to be remembered at Lake Central as a good pole vaulter and a good teammate. Now we've got Isaac Hurd. His best athletic memory was getting the call that his 4x1 team qualified for regionals. His advice to the underclassmen is to enjoy your high school career because it's over just like that. He would like to be remembered at Lake Central as hardworking and dedicated. Next up we have Jackson Sarbatsky. His best athletic memory was winning races. His advice to the underclassmen is to listen to Coach Hall and you will improve. He would like to be remembered at Lake Central as a good person and a reliable athlete. Next up is Mark Prince. He says his best athletic memory was when we were all freezing at HF and we made a tent out of blanks and blasted music. His advice to underclassmen is to take nothing for granted because before you know it, it can be taken away from you in a blink of an eye. He said he would like to be remembered at Lake Central as a guy who worked hard to get to the place that I am today. Next up we got Warren Chuckaluk. His best athletic memory was earning Rookie of the Year as a freshman on the soccer team. His advice to underclassmen is don't be afraid to try new things and have fun while you can. He would like to be remembered at Lake Central as a hardworking student and athlete who loved trying new sports and activities. And the first senior we have is third baseman Alexis Johnson. AJ has been a big-time contributor since she was a freshman. She has played multiple positions, but has been a staple for us at third base. She was probably one of the best third basemen in the entire state heading into this season. AJ's big moment came during her sophomore season. She was asked to catch the state championship game due to injury after not catching for almost a month. She was stellar. Valparaiso is getting a great softball player. That's where she will be continuing her softball career. Great quote by head coach Mr. Sherman.
And moving on now to first base, Angel Harper. Mr. Sherman said, and I quote, "Angel's softball skills have increased each of the 4 years that she has been with us. She has worked extremely hard to get to the chance to start for us, and I'm heartbroken that that chance was taken away. Angel has become a great leader, specifically in the past year. The other girls respect and listen to her because she talks to them in a manner that makes them feel at ease. She's going to do great things at Wisconsin Parkside, which is where she's going to be continuing her academic and softball career."
Next up we have team manager Sophia Burleson. I have had so much fun watching Sophia get integrated into softball these past 2 years. Her knowledge of the game and her interaction with our players has become a thing of beauty. I can't thank Topher enough for dedicating her spring to helping us these past couple of years. She's been so much fun to be around. I wish her the best of luck in the future.
Next up we have Morgan Hoppy, pitcher and outfielder for the Indians. Morgan has probably made the biggest jump of any of our players. She came in as a very talented player, but she was poised to have a monster breakout season this year. I'm disappointed that Morgan didn't get to showcase her abilities this season. She's going to be a member of our pitching staff as well as our starting right fielder. I think she was going to be awesome. Charleston is getting a great player. And that's yet another Lake Central Lady Indian softball player who's going on to continue her academic and playing career in college.
And last but certainly not least, Alexis Reese, second baseman. Lexi went from a player that thought she was going to get cut her sophomore year, there was no chance of that, to setting the school record for home runs in a season last year as a junior. She was due for another big season this year. I'm so pleased the hard work that Lexi has put in over the past 4 years. She has worked extremely hard to get herself in this position. We will miss her greatly. I think she will be great at St. Xavier. That record Coach Jeff Sherman was talking about, she had 8 home runs last season. Once again, that's the record for home runs in a season. She did that as a junior. So definitely a great career by Alexis Reese. And this is what Coach Jeff Sherman had to say about all the girls. All of these young ladies were just outstanding people. They brighten the room whenever they are in it. They will certainly be missed when they are gone, but the groundwork they have laid will benefit us for years to come. I will miss them all greatly and can't wait to watch their successes unfold. We are LC. Next up we have our unified track team. First up, Alexa Colonia. Her best athletic memory was getting close to everyone on the team. She says her advice to underclassmen is that she encourages everyone to try unified track. Yes, it gets you started on running, which is very healthy for you, but most importantly, you open up your heart learning how to deal with all walks of life, and that's the most important skill you could learn. She would like to be remembered at Lake Central as someone who did her best to make sure everyone was genuinely welcome. Next up, we have Delaney Flynn. When asked about her greatest athletic memory, she said, our first meet of my sophomore year, seeing all the kids cheering each other on and cheering on the other teams made me so happy. Her advice to underclassmen is to not take anything for granted. Get involved with school activities and events, have fun, and enjoy every moment you get in high school. She would like to be remembered at Lake Central as a student athlete that always tried her best and made sure everyone was able to do so as well. Next up, we have Kiana Sullivan. Her best athletic memory was traveling on the bus with everyone. Her advice to the underclassmen is don't take the time you have left for granted, and she would like to be remembered at Lake Central as a well-committed athlete who gave forward all effort for her team. Next up, we have Madison Dolsky. Her best athletic memory was just getting to help, encourage, and have fun with the other students. She said her advice to underclassmen is to have fun in any sport you do. Don't stress too much about the winning and losing, because when I look back, all I remember is the fun times we had in the locker room, bus rides, etc. She would like to be remembered at Lake Central as an athlete that never gave up and always stayed humble. Next up, we have Sophia Burleson. She says her favorite athletic memory was running in the 400 meter in the same heat as my brother Andrew. Her advice to underclassmen is always be competitive, show respect to all your coaches and your other teammates. If you're hesitant to try out, at least try. When asked about how she would like to be remembered at Lake Central, she said, I hope to be remembered as a role model for unified track. I tried my hardest during the season to make sure that everyone was included, encouraged, and cheered on.
And our next senior is Jessica Jenst. When asked about her best athletic memory, she said the bus rides after away meets because we would all just listen to music and scream the lyrics. Her advice to underclassmen is to go to everything school-related and participate in sports and as much clubs as possible. She would like to be remembered as a student athlete at LC as someone who always gave the best effort to go to every meet and to help the kids as much as possible.
Next up, we have Tatum Morawski. Her best athletic memory was when all the kids crossed the finish line with a smile on their face. Her advice to underclassmen is to go out of your comfort zone and try out for a sport. It's a great way to make friends and branch out. You also get in shape, which is great. She would like to be remembered at LC as an athlete who helped others reach their goals. Next up, we've got Trent Schneider. When asked about his best athletic memory, he said, I really enjoyed the positive atmosphere at all the practices and meets. His advice to underclassmen is be true to yourself and don't let the thoughts of others inhibit you or guide your decisions. When asked about how he would like to be remembered at Lake Central, he said, as a student athlete at Lake Central, I made sure to prioritize my education yet still be a leader on my hockey team, as well as a positive role model for my peers and teammates, whether it was with my Bishop Noel hockey team winning state or running the relay in unified track. Alright, now we've got the girls track team, starting with Blessing Nate. When asked about her favorite athletic memory, she said, my favorite athletic memory was last year's Cincinnati trip and playing Uno with Makeda Ellis, Maddie Rigg, Abby Morestic, Ali Malarski, and Abby Zachary. Her advice to underclassmen is just because you're younger doesn't mean you should work any less harder. She would like to be remembered at Lake Central as someone who pushed her teammates to be the best athletes they could be. Next up, we got Caitlin O'Brien. When asked about her greatest athletic memory, she said, my sophomore year cross-country season when we went to Cedar Point for a race instead of homecoming. When asked about her advice to underclassmen, she said, try something new. I had never done cross-country or track before high school, but I joined my freshman year and made some of my favorite memories and best friends. When asked how she would like to be remembered at Lake Central, she said, someone who hopefully taught some people. All the pole vaulters this year were new, so if I can leave knowing I helped them, I will be proud. Next up, we got Caitlin McClellan. Her best athletic memory was winning the JV DAC meet her sophomore year and getting a new PR of almost 4 feet. Her advice to underclassmen is don't be afraid to try new things and to get the fullest experience out of high school. She would like to be remembered at Lake Central as a hard worker who was always there for her teammates. Next one is Lily Rizzo. When asked about her greatest athletic memory, she said the last meet we had before the season was ended. I had so much fun at the meet and was so happy to be with my teammates. Her advice to the underclassmen is to never give up even if you are feeling weak, just keep telling yourself you're almost done. When asked how she would like to be remembered at Lake Central, she said, I would like to be remembered as an athlete that cared about their sport and also had a lot of fun doing it. Next up, we got Lily Zubek. When asked about her greatest athletic memory, she said, my best athletic memory would be at the Chesterton meet. The meet was at home my junior year running the 800. When asked about her advice to underclassmen, she said, always believe in yourself. I know that practices and meets can be tough, but if you keep a positive mindset and remind yourself why you are there, it gets easier. She said she would like to be remembered at Lake Central as a good teammate who was always there to support her team. Next up is Liz Reyes. When asked about her favorite athletic memory, she said, my track team's bus breaking down after state at 12 a.m. Her advice to underclassmen is to live in the moment and never take anything for granted. She would like to be remembered at Lake Central as someone who was a hardworking student athlete and did her best to make everyone feel included. And last, but certainly not least, for girls track, we have Rachel Kajawa. When asked about her best athletic memory, she said, getting hugs from the whole team after I finished less than a second behind first place at the Cincinnati meet. Her advice to underclassmen is to enjoy every practice and meet you have. Time flies by, and before you know it, your high school career is already over. When asked how she would like to be remembered at Lake Central, she said, I would like to be remembered as a student athlete, as someone who was always hardworking. First up, we have twins, Jackie and Nicole Kenda. My last set of twins. I stole them away from golf. Both sisters would have had a great chance to play varsity doubles. Both are very competitive, and both had wonderful personalities. Nicole's greatest athletic memory is beating Crown Point, and Jackie Kenda's greatest athletic memory is singing on the bus rides with everyone on the way to away games and Coach Z trying to teach me how to juggle.
Alright, and next up we have Mallory Gagliardi. Mallory played high JV and would have challenged for a spot on varsity. She was a very consistent player and gave it her all the time. Mallory is super smart and did a great job balancing school with sports. Her greatest athletic memory was Gronek prom freshman and sophomore year.
Next up, we have Jade Mihawk. Jade got better at tennis each of her 4 years and was very competitive on the court. Jade was kind of like the team spokesperson and seemed to be someone the team looked up to. When asked about her greatest athletic memory, she said some of the most memorable moments have been winning my challenge matches and moving up the ranks. I loved planning the senior gifts last year, getting Dunkin' or Smoothie King before matches with my friends, and our bus rides that consisted of the buses breaking down and us singing our hearts out. I love this team.
And next up we've got Madison Howler. She only played 1 year and was very new to the game of tennis. Madison was a great teammate and was always upbeat. Her greatest athletic memory was last tennis season when the bus broke down at one of our matches. Sounds like a trend with the buses breaking down.
Next up, we have Bella Watts. Bella played singles and became the team's #1 as a junior. She had the chance to possibly be the conference champ as a senior. Bella put a tremendous amount of off-season work to get better and made huge strides from her freshman year. Bella was one of the easiest players to coach and would really try your advice while in the heat of battle. I will miss her competitiveness as well as her as an athlete/student. When asked about her greatest athletic memory, she said, my greatest memory was our match against Crown Point at sectionals. It was amazing to have all of our friends, family, teammates, and alumni there to watch and cheer us on. I'm grateful for all of the LC tennis memories, including when Coach Joe's minibus wouldn't start on the way from Maryville. Again, seems like a trend, Josh.
And last but not least, we have Paige Cavelli. She only played 1 year, she made great progress from start to finish of her junior year. Paige has a great personality, very upbeat and super positive. Her greatest athletic memory was going to my first tennis match and cheering on the seniors and being surrounded by my new amazing teammates.
And the first senior we have up is pitcher Alex James. Alex was an underrated competitor who battled through an injury his freshman year to become one of the leaders and most productive pitchers on our staff and in Northwest Indiana. Alex's greatest athletic memory was winning the DAC in 2018 and winning sectionals in 2018 and 2019.
Yeah, next up we've got pitcher Brock Begesha. He turned himself into one of the top pitchers in the state with a relentless work ethic and competitiveness that was shown time and time again over his 4 years. He's a great leader who is the type of student athlete we want all LC players to strive to be. His greatest athletic memory was shutting out Crown Point in the regional semifinal.
Next up we have Brock Bevel, pitcher and middle infielder. I saw Brock really work to get bigger and stronger and really improve his game in the 4 years with us. Another very versatile player who will only get better and better as he moves on to college. He'll be playing at Benedictine University. Brock says his greatest athletic memory was throwing a complete game shutout with only 65 pitches to advance to the championship game in the summer of my 17U season.
Next up we have shortstop Reese Tufo. I always liked Reese's moxie from the first few days I saw him 4 years ago. Although not the biggest guy in stature, he made up for it and then some with grittiness, determination, and talent. Reese's greatest athletic memory was winning sectionals last year.
Next up we have Doug Loden, third baseman, outfielder, and pitcher. Doug was one of the hardest workers I've ever coached, and that hard work paid off as he just got better and better each year. He really put himself in position to have a really big senior year. Leadership skills came a long way as well. Doug's greatest athletic memory was hitting a grand slam in the regional against the rival Crown Point.
That ball is gone. It's a grand slam home run for Doug Logan.
And next up, we've got outfielder Sean Sullivan. Sean was a very coachable young man. He was always willing to do any and everything asked of him with a great attitude and even better work ethic. Like Doug Loden, he put himself in position to have a really big senior year. Great example of a lead-by-example guy. His greatest athletic memory was hitting a walk-off to win the 2019 Munster section.
Next up, we have second baseman and shortstop Eddie Krieger. Eddie always played with a confidence that really suited him well. He became a very good athlete who was a very versatile player through a lot of hard work and extra hours put into improving his game. Eddie's greatest athletic memory was going 23-0 our last 23 games and winning 4 straight tournaments for 14U travel.
Next up, we've got Kyle Blum, catcher and designated hitter. True definition of a student athlete. Very coachable through all 4 years and a great representative of Lake Central High School. Never saw Kyle have a bad day and brought a great attitude on a daily basis. Kyle's greatest athletic memory was playing the game I love with the people I love.
Next up, we have first baseman Hunter Sazovsky. Hunter was very competitive on the baseball field. I really enjoyed watching him grow as a person and player. He took advantage of the opportunity he got his junior year and never looked back. Hunter's greatest athletic memory was winning a baseball sectional championship with the greatest team and group of guys.
Next up, we have pitcher Jackson Kruger. Great kid who never gave up on his goal of playing varsity baseball when others might have. One of the most coachable young men I have ever had. His greatest athletic memory was signing with Indiana University South Bend.
Next up, we have catcher Nolan Zahorsky. Nolan was one of the quieter seniors we had, but he really let his play do the talking for him. Another one of our seniors who worked extremely hard to get better. Great baseball IQ and one of the best all-around players I have ever coached. Nolan's greatest athletic memory was winning sectionals last year with my boys.
And last but not least, we have team manager Miranda Prowse. It was an absolute pleasure to have her around our baseball program as she did a lot of under-the-radar activities that you can't place a value on. She always had a positive attitude and was willing to do whatever was needed to help the coaches, players, and the program. Miranda's greatest athletic memory was winning nationals and state over her years as a centralette and being at the sectional championship game for baseball.
And this is what Coach Fortune Truber had to say about all his seniors. I want to say that these 11 seniors are all fine young men who all brought something unique and special to our program. It's a shame that none of them will get an opportunity to participate in their final year of high school baseball. I can't thank them enough for all the time and effort they have put to make themselves the best they can be and great representatives of Lake Central High School and our baseball program.